Hello everyone, welcome to online video tutorial. In this video, we are going to see the recording of live webinar on integrating Scopus in research workflow. This was conducted by the Central Library MNIT Allahabad and Elsevier on the Wednesday, October 6, 2021 from 3:30 p.m. IST to the 4:30 p.m. IST, and this was about the Scopus database and various other things which you can see on the screen. It was conducted by the Dr. Shubhra Dutta, customer consultant in the Elsevier, and it was very fruitful session. And whether you are among the faculties, research scholars, or a student having research or going for any research in the further, so this will be very useful because Scopus is the largest abstract and citation database of the peer-reviewed literature, scientific journals, books, conference proceedings. And if you want to start, so first of all, there are the things like how to identify and analyze journals to read or submit to, how to track and assess the researcher's impact, what are citation factors you can uh, see, and how you can make the profile there, and all these things, and current researchers, how you can find the idea and differentiate between the topics. So all these things are told very beautifully here. So over to Dr. Subra Datta ma'am.
So you can start working directly, but what I would suggest is create an account in Scopus so that you are able to customize your account. So for that, there is the sign in option and the create account option. So click on create account. Just use your institutional email ID and give any password of your choice, right? So I want to. So since I keep the option stay signed in, my password is kind of saved. You can always do it, check it so that you don't have to remember the password, one. And two, you can always log in at any time. The same email ID password will work if you have an account for either Science Direct or Mendeley. So if you're having an account in either of these platforms, also the same email ID will work over here as well. Okay, so here we are. Again, it's the same page, but now you can see instead of the sign in option, my initials are shown over here, right? Okay, so what is the benefit of this? We'll talk about it as we move further. So on Scopus, there are mainly three types of searches that you can do: document search, the author search, and the affiliation search. Document search is the most commonly or widely used feature in Scopus, right? But before we get into that, the first thing that you should be doing when you're logging into Scopus for the first time is, if you have published even one paper, please check your profile on Scopus if it is correct or not. If it is not correct, then you need to rectify it, right? Because your profile is visualized like that by the rest of the world. It is considered by uh, by a lot of recruitment offices in top universities. Mm, It is the data that you have in your profile is further used by the ranking agencies also. So it directly impacts your institute's perspective prospect also. So first of all, you should be checking your own profile. How do you do that? Three ways of doing it. First one, go to author search, type in your last name, first name, do a search, right? So you can find somebody who's having a very common name. Let's say somebody whose name is Gaurav Gupta. Initials are G Gupta. So there could be multiple G Gupta or Gaurav Gupta in this country who are into research, right? So then probably you'll have to sieve through, filter through all those 50, 100 names, right? But if you have a unique name, then probably you'll end up with one name only or two, three names only. So it's easier to work out. Second way of doing it is go to affiliations, Search for your institute's name from wherever you have published. So you published from Motilal Nehru. So we open your institute's profile. We look at the author list. So over here, again, you can find out who the authors are and what are their job. You can find your name over here. So right now, I'm just going to open, let's say, Rajiv Tripaঠি's profile. So this is the second way of finding it out. Third way and the easiest way is, again, I'll go back to the search page. We looked at the author search, we looked at the affiliation search, now the document search. Type in the title of your publication, right? And search for it. Because if you're not able to do it author affiliation wise, easiest way is type in the title of your publication name in document search and search for it. If the document is there on Scopus, it will appear. And all the authors are hyperlinked. So let's say we were looking at R. Tripathi. So I click on that. So the author profile will open. Okay. So over here, 3 things to check if it's correct or not. 1, your name. Is it correct? Rajiv Tripathi. Second, your affiliation. Is it correct? MNNIT. Or is it showing something else over here? This is not your affiliation. Or you have changed this one as well. What is it? Third, documents published. How many documents have you published? So it is showing 131. Probably you published only 130. One is extra. Then there is something wrong in the profile. Or you have published 135. 4 are missing. Only lesser number is showing. 131 is showing. 4 are missing. Then also you need to rectify your profile accordingly. So first things first, you check for all these. If there is an issue, then you can correct it at your end only. How do you do that? Okay, let's see. If your affiliation is missing, you can look at the author info as well and see. So this shows the various affiliations this person has been linked with. So Rajiv Tripathi has been part of University of Waterloo, Graphic Era, VNIT, etc. So we close this. Okay. Now, if you find some, as I said, some rectification required over here. So we have this feature of edit profile. Now this edit profile feature can only be used if you have logged in over here, right? If you have not logged in, it'll prompt you for a login. Unless you do that, you won't be able to do these changes. So it'll ask you, is this your own profile or you're doing it for someone else? So right now I'm doing it for someone else, but it is strongly recommended that everybody does it for themselves only. So if you have a name issue, like if you want your display name to be changed, you can have a look at all the other variants that have been used in the publication of this author. Then you can change it. So you can see a spelling change also. That's quite interesting. Usually we don't come across the spelling changes, but okay. You cannot type in anything on your own. This will take up only the name options from the publications you have done. So you can change if you want to. I'm not changing anything. Affiliation, if it is wrong, again, you can pick up and say, okay, I belong to VNIT. It is showing wrong. So I can change this, right? But I'll not do, I'll say revert to original. Okay. Now, one thing over here you would have to remember that let's say you are a postdoc or a research associate or a faculty who is just moved to MNIT, let's say a couple of months ago, and you're just working on a new project over here. So you've not published anything. So even though physically your affiliation now is MNIT, but it will not show on Scopus. So let's say over here it is showing Allahabad University. Let's say you have moved to MNIT, but it will still show Allahabad University only. You cannot change it till the time you come out with a publication with the affiliation of MNIT, because Scopus takes up information only from published material. So unless in a published article that change is reflected, that cannot be done over here. So that thing, please be clear. Okay. Now, as I said, if there is something wrong in the number of documents, his profile is showing 131 documents. What if you had only 130? You have published only 130 documents. One is extra. Then what do? You click on this documents. All of the documents are listed over here. You can remove the one which does not belong to you. So let's say I can scroll down. I can see, okay, this is not my paper. Remove from profile. So this can be easily done. Then second is you have published more, but Scopus is showing less. So for that, it's very easy. Go to search for missing documents. Type in the document title or your article title over here and do a search. If the paper is there on Scopus, you'll find it, and then there would be an option of select the author. So you'll have to select your name, and there would be an add option, just like over here search, you'll have an add option. So this way you can add a missing document. What if you don't find your article in Scopus? Like over here, you searched for your document title and you did not find it. Then what do? So there could be multiple reasons why your document is not showing in Scopus. Number one, the journal where you published is not indexed in Scopus. So if it is not indexed, it will not show. Right? So you cannot do anything. That's why I said always check before publishing whether the journal is listed in Scopus or not. 2. The journal is listed in Scopus, still your paper is not showing. So it could be then that, okay. So what you have to do is in that case, look at the coverage area or the coverage time period of that journal in Scopus. So let's say the Scopus covered that journal from 2000 to 2020. For 20 years it was there in Scopus. But now it is not there. It has been removed. So if you published an article in that journal in 2021, then again your article will not be listed in Scopus. That is the second reason. Third reason is the journal is part of Scopus in 2021. Still your article is not showing. One could be it is a flagged journal, it is under review. That's one thing. Or the journal publisher is at fault over here. They did not supply the recent issue or volume data to Scopus in time. So there is a delay, right? But not to worry, in that case, the paper would be updated anytime. So that's not an issue. Now, since we are talking about journals which are part of Scopus or not, and your article will be listed or not, depends whether that journal is part of Scopus or not. How do you find out which journals are part of Scopus? So again, very simple. We go to this tab, sources. In the drop down, select title, type in the title of your journal. I'm just showing you an example. So this is the journal I was looking for, Plant Archives. This is part of Scopus. Don't just fall for it, always open it up. It says from 2011 to 2020, right now the coverage is discontinued. Okay. So that means if you publish in 2021, you will not get to see your article. Let me show you another example relevant to your field, because I got this query recent, just yesterday only. So this one, Turkish Journal of Computer and Mathematics Education. So this is also part of Scopus. But as I said, just don't go by this, open it up. Coverage discontinued. Okay. Now this banner of coverage discontinued takes some time to update in Scopus because the platform is very heavy. You know, I told you 83 million plus items are listed in Scopus, so it's very heavy file. So it takes some time. But let's say a journal is removed in September and in October you want to submit your manuscript, right? If this banner is not updated, how will you know whether the journal is part of Scopus or not, right? So what do? Very simple. Go to sources. You can see download Scopus source list. Click on this. The second one, download source title list. If you click on this, an Excel sheet will be downloaded. In this sheet, there would be a tab which says discontinued journals. This list is updated on a monthly basis. Every month, this list is updated, right? So if you are in October, you need to look at what all changes were made in September. Download that list, check whether the journal you want to apply to belongs there or not. If it is there, then stay away from it. Don't submit your manuscript over there because there is a quality issue over there. Also, since this list is updated on a monthly basis, it cannot be that today you downloaded this list and you kept on using this list till 2022. No. Every time that you want to check a journal from the discontinued list, download this list afresh. Okay. So it's important that you look at the freshly downloaded list for the most latest updated data. So this is very, very important. Second question, since we are here only and you were looking for a, one thing is you've decided on the journal and then you were looking for whether the title is there in Scopus or not. What if you've done your paper, but you are yet to decide where to publish it, right? In that case, if you want to look up journals, then again, Scopus can help you. One is you go to subject area, right? So let's say I want to look at, I don't know, material science. So I get all these options, so I can select everything, use this as well, and again I can apply. So there are some 2100 plus journals, and they are all listed as per their ranking over here. Many a times we get this question that all these good journals are asking for money and to publish, and we do not have money. What do we do? It's difficult to publish a paper. I understand your challenges, but it's not like that every journal is charging money. Only the journals which are open access, that is, they charge money or article processing fee, that we call article processing charges, APC, from the authors, so that the article is free for the readers. Only those journals will charge you a fee for it. Not all journals, and not all good journals are charging for it. So over here, as I said, all top rated list, the journals are rated as per their rating. So you can see open access is not written over here. That means they do not charge money. So if I just scroll down, quite interesting. Top 20 journals, and none of them is open access. So they're all free to publish. Let me go to the second page. It's quite interesting. I'm also seeing it for the first time. So at number 21, finally, we have the first open access, right? Who will charge money. Then again at number 30, advanced science. So it's not that there are journals, there are very less journals which do not charge. It is there. You have to be able to find it. Another thing is, many a times you will see that your email gets spammed by these journal publishers, editors, unknown random journals, wherein they claim we are Scopus indexed. You pay us 5,000, 2,000 rupees, and we'll get your work published in a week's time, in a month's time, something like that. Sometime even in 24 hours. Do not believe such claims. You have Scopus at your disposal. Always check it up. Many journals claim falsely that we are Scopus indexed. Do not believe their website. They can put anything. Go to Scopus and then check. Also check, let's say you're applying for this journal, ACS Nano, or rather Nano Today. Okay, Nano Today writes to you, the editor writes to you, at Nano Today we are coming out with a new edition on the area of let's say copper nanosheets, something like that. And so please send your details or your manuscript with us, and we charge only some, let's say, 5,000 rupees, right? And we are Scopus indexed. Always check. So you checked, yes, Nano Today is part of Scopus, makes sense. It is working in the area of nanoparticles, makes sense. But this is not showing it to be open access, right? We can open this as well. So it is mainly publishing in area related to life sciences field in terms of nanotechnology. And also this is Elsevier journal. And as I said, is it open access? It is not open access. That means it is not charging any money. If the mail claims that, pay us this much money, then there is something fraudulent about that. Do not go with that email link at all, right? So there is a lot of malpractice happening across. So you have to be very diligent when you go ahead with your publication. So sources list is one way of finding out journals of your interest. So let me again go back to the data I was showing you, material science. So when you publish, you have to be very honest with yourself. How good or bad your data is. Where should you publish it? If it's novel, unique, then of course you should go for the best of the journals, right? So over here, the journals are given a rating, that is a site score. This is a journal metric, just like impact factor, which calculates the impact of the journals based on citations, and they are given a percentile. So you can see over here, the percentile is given. The way you get your gate score. Based on the percentiles, the journal is categorized into 4 quartiles. So the top 25% will come in the first quartile. So if your work is absolutely brilliant, then go for the first quartile. If your work is okay, then maybe the second or the third quartile you can look at. If your work is not so good, sometimes it does happen, you do not have very good quality data, or you just have a little bit of data in a particular area, you do not want to continue with it, with that area. So you can go for the fourth quartile journal also. This is the lowest quality or the lowest 25% quality journals. So if I look at this, you get 300, right? So you can have a look at these as well. This is one way of looking at the journals. Another way, which I feel is much better, is you go to the search option. This is the document search that we are in. Delete it. So let's say we are working on nano material. Right? Keep on adding keywords. The more keywords you add, the better it is. I was talking to you about copper nanosheets. Let's see copper. Then I want to know probably its use in telecommunications. Then you add over here, you have a lot of other categories also, so you can pick and choose. So I want to look at probably at India level publications that have happened, or I want to look at how CSR is looking at it, right? So, and then you have these operators and or and not to create as many permutation combinations. So the longer query you use, or the more the keywords you use, the more relevant answers you will get, right? So it's important to use as many keywords possible. But right now, for the demo purpose, just to keep it very simple, I'm just using one keyword, okay? Nanomaterial, and do a search. So we got around almost like 2 lakh publications over here, right? So these publications are sorted on the basis of the title, the authors, the year of publication, the journal where it has been published, and the citations received. Right now, it is sorted on the basis of the newest. So latest publications at the top. But again, my personal favorite is to sort it on the basis of highest citations. So what it does, it allows you to look at the top publications or top impactful publications in your research area. So gives you a better view of it. So we have this paper published in 2012. which received 10,000 plus citations. So these would be some key papers which definitely changed the way research was happening in this particular field, right? So and so forth. So all of them are somewhere in the area of the last decade only, if you see. So that's when probably nanotechnology actually kind of started, right? And most information is coming in from there. So even when you're doing a literature review, this is something that you should be looking at. Okay. On the left hand side, you have further filters to refine your search. So you have year filter, author, etc. You can view it when you go onto Scopus. I just want to show one that I feel is quite important, is this one, the keyword. So I do view all. So it will show me all keywords that have been used by the authors in these 2 lakh papers that we have, right? So again, you can further streamline your search query. So I'm working on nanomaterials, and I've already mentioned copper, so I can look at copper. I can look at the thermal conductivity of it, the electric conductivity of it. I can look at the friction, oxidation, wear resistance, surface roughness. Probably I'm looking at the life science angle of it, then probably cell culture, or if at all. But right now, let's say we were doing a telecommunication. So probably we want to look at the tensile strength, wires can be made out of it, right? And what else? So you can, just go through it and see whatever suits you. So these are the things which have been used by the authors themselves. And then you could do limit to or exclude to make your query more further specific. Right now, as I said, ease of demo, I'm not doing anything of that sort. Now, once you're here, now let me just open one paper and show it to you. How does it look like? So as I said, the paper would only be having the abstract details. Full text will be provided only if it is open access or subscribed by your institute. So over here, the journal name, the citation details are given over here. That's the name, the authors are hyperlinked, their affiliations are given, the abstract, and most importantly is this, the references. Because as a researcher, we are forever interested in the reference of a paper we are following. Where did they get this information from? What is the actual source of this information? So all of these references are again hyperlinked, so you can click on it and go on to the paper directly. Their citation numbers are also written, so it also shows the impact of these references also. Like this paper was cited 17,000 times. If you're working on graphene, then this is one paper that you should be looking at, right? So you get to see all of them. Whether you cite it or not is a different thing, but you should be looking at. But I've been a researcher myself, so what I realize is that we are only looking at reference pattern always for a paper. That's good, but we should be looking at the citation pattern also of that paper. Reference is where is the information coming from. Citation is how is this information being used, right? So we look at all the 10,000 documents which have cited this paper. This opens up new avenues. How this information have been used by the others. What can you do? Could lead to newer application ideas, could lead to multidisciplinary collaboration ideas. You could look at your own publication for the citation pattern as well. So this is something that you should be exploring. Also, for your literature review purposes, related more documents are also shown which are having similar reference patterns because they're coming from the same field. So you could do that. So I go back. Now we were talking about how we came over here is which could be the best journal for publishing, right? So one thing I showed you at the source list, you check over there. Second is you look at all those documents, we'll not even be reading 1% of it. So how do we get the insights out of it? Very simple. Select all, do analyze. This shows the trend in the subject. So as I said, the journal began, the subject began most probably in the early 2000, really picked up in the last decade, and it has been growing ever since. So the need of nanomaterials have not subsided at all. So even though research has been happening here for quite some time, good work has been happening, new breakthroughs have been happening, but there is still a lot of scope, and hence it is still a growing field. Okay, now this graph shows you the journals where maximum publications on nanomaterials is happening. So these are the journals over here. This is not as per rating, but this is as per the content being published. So these, if you can scroll down, you can see more. Only the top 5 are selected over here. So these could be your choice of candidates for publishing if you're working in this area. On the other hand, these could also be your choice for reading or referencing from if you're working in this area, because maximum work is happening in this area, right? So this is something that you should be looking at. Then probably you want to look at how is the funding pattern, who can I apply to? So you can look at the funding details as well. So we see that National Natural Science Foundation of China is leading, like way ahead, 20,000 publications, followed by National Science Foundation USA, just 5,000. Interesting. But this is all foreign funding agencies. What about India? You can actually scroll down and have a look if India is here or not. But this will, this, so we do CCSIR. I did see, yeah, CSIR over here, 800 publications. So this makes it a little cumbersome. So what you could do is do a country-wise filter also. So China is of course leading, and it's obvious from the funding also, followed by United States. A third number is India. That's very, very interesting. So we have some 16,000 publications. So you can actually click on this, do an analyze, and then see what are the top funding agencies in India working on this area. Or you could analyze on the way. I'm planning to send it to DST. How has DST funded in this area? What has already been done? Because you'll have to come up with something new. Because if DST has already funded something, then they would say, okay, we already funded a similar project. Why should we do it for you? So it has to be something unique about it. Then you would want to know who are the top universities, probably, who you can work with. So China is leading, but of course, then we have the French CNRS and the others. So you could look at the top universities. So if you're applying for a postdoc, for a faculty position, for a PhD, or you're going for a conference and you want to connect, then who do you connect to? Who are the best people? So this is one way of looking at it. But then let's say I'm going to a conference to Tsinghua University. I want to connect to the faculty over there. But Tsinghua is huge. There would be like thousands of faculty. Who do you connect with? So you actually can go to Tsinghua papers and do an analysis and find out the top researchers, the way it is done over here. This way you can also look for collaborators you can work with, right? So we see an Indian name. So let's find out who is this. We actually see 2 Indian names. So if any of you in the audience today working on nanotechnology, then probably you can have a discussion going, think about a collaboration or something with these people as well. So let's say, so M. Gupta, okay, Indian guy, but is based in NUS, Singapore. So if we go to his author info, So these are the universities he's been part of. So throughout, he has been out of India only. So he had all his education outside, it seems. Okay, interesting. So this is something that Scopus can help you get insight from all these publications. They can be on your doctoral committee. You can ask them to be reviewers. So multiple things that can be done. Question are yours. Answer will come out from Scopus. Depends on what you need to find out, and accordingly you have to look at the data in that manner. So with this, we'll end the session today, and if there are questions, then I'll take it up.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes, Arvinji. I don't see any questions in the Q&A box, or there's nothing in the chat box also. So I hope everything was clear. So because we did discuss a lot of stuff today, and maybe by the time you do it later on, you may forget, then no worries. You can see this question mark over here. Over here, we have help FAQs, standard FAQs, which you may encounter. Tutorials, these are just 1 minute videos which will help you, or you can directly chat with the Scopus product team as well if you have any queries on Scopus. But mainly I would suggest is go back and check your profile if it is correct or not, or get it rectified. And two, look at the journals where you're publishing, whether it is listed in Scopus or not. So these are two main things that you should be doing when you're there on Scopus next time.